Most guides will tell you to get gear with the lowest possible visibility, noise, and conspicuousness, which I also believed during my first dozen hours in the game. But since then, I've been playing around with KCD2 stealth mechanics to see what kind of gear is best for playing stealthily. As of making this video, I have about 160 hours in the game and I've spent a lot of time thinking and playing around the game's stealth mechanics. And from the culmination of my time in the game, my conclusion about the best stealth gear in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is that there is none. Hear me out. If you haven't seen my video where I showed myself stealth clearing enemy camps with full-on plate armor and low stealth, you can check it out here. But what that video and experience showed me is that the main stealth stats in KCD2, which are noise, conspicuousness, and visibility, are just a piece of the bigger stealth puzzle of the game. You see, these stats are important for stealth, but they are not the only thing that affects it. I think I can even argue that time of day is the most important for stealth. Because sneaking around at night is so much easier and forgiving than sneaking during the day. I mean, even with level 8 stealth, you can sneak around bandit camps with plate armor at night without a problem. And from my experience, most quests are doable either in the morning or at night. Except of course for a few that have scripted events. So 90% of the time you can choose to do a quest during the night. Plus, Nighthawk Potion, which is basically night vision, makes nighttime look like daytime so you don't have to worry about stumbling in the dark as long as there is some sort of light source. But going back to my main point, there is no best gear for stealth because the gear you want will be dependent on your objective. So let's explore some scenarios. Let's talk first about when you're sneaking around villages and hoping to liberate some valuables from private chests. Since you'll just be sneaking around towns and not really expecting to have a hostile encounter, your thieving gear can just be anything as long as it has low visibility and conspicuousness. For noise, just ignore it for now. For Henrys that have stealth level below 15, I recommend getting your visibility and conspicuousness under 50. Personally, I'll go for any gear with around 30 on both stats. You will want light gear so you have a lot of space in your inventory to store stolen items. Light gear will also give you higher speed so you can move around faster than when in heavy suits. I think the stealth gear that you get from the inn during the mission for Crazel should be more than enough for a thief gear. You also don't need armor at all since you will just be stealing, so just go for dark colored tunics or gambesons along with hoses. Alternatively, if you are playing as a hybrid thief with a lot of points in speech and charisma, you can adjust your gear to boost your charisma a bit. This way, if ever a guard spots you, you can talk your way out. So instead of just dark clothes that you get from Crazel, you can opt to wear dark expensive coats, black hoses, and dark colored hats that boost charisma significantly. Of course, these items tend to be a bit expensive and most are only available in Kuttenberg tailors as far as I know. But if you're somewhere in the mid to late game, you might even have perks like Flower Power, Charming Companion, and Heracles, which can boost your base charisma. If you have these, you can probably reach 30 charisma or close with some dark colored clothes. This is actually an OP build since you can straight up steal in front of guards and just use your speech or charisma checks to gaslight them.
Listen, I feel a bit awkward about this, but the truth is, I really needed it for something very important, but that's all I can tell you. Sorry. I should have asked first.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Keep it then. Keep it and keep your secrets, and now clear off. I want nothing to do with it.
Still, it is still worth sneaking around to avoid a reputation penalty when caught committing a crime. Next, let's talk about assassin gear. So this gear can be somewhat similar to your thieving gear but with added protection. You will want an assassin gear when you are planning to infiltrate an enemy camp, whether to get something or to eliminate all the enemies in that camp. For this gear, you want to wear a dark gambeson for an extra layer along with a coif and maybe a hat to avoid getting one shot from a headshot. I would also recommend wearing gauntlets and arm armor since enemies are likely to attack your center of mass and the area around it. For your stats, you can also aim for anything around 30 visibility and conspicuousness if your stealth level is around 15. You can get away with higher stats the higher your stealth level is. But basically, the idea behind this gear is that you want to remain hidden as long as you can as you go around the camp. However, since you'll need to do stealth kills or infiltrate deep within enemy territory, the chances of combat is high. That is why I recommend wearing headgear and some body armor, so when you fail a stealth takedown or you randomly stumble upon an enemy, you will have some sort of protection. Additionally though, I would advise to first scout your enemies and look at their gear. If they are heavily geared with full plate armor and such, you might want more protection. You might consider wearing chainmail for more padding. But most importantly, if they are heavily geared, opt to do the infiltration at night. This will significantly lower your visibility and allow you to move around enemy camps. Plus, most of the enemies might be sleeping, allowing you to stealth kill them easily. Now here's a bonus gear that I've been playing around with for a while, the Punisher gear. Basically, this is from a marksman build that I designed around the Punisher, one of my favorite characters. So the gear consists of heavy armor while using bows, crossbows, and when all else fails, guns. You can choose anything from plate armor to brigantines. I personally like the look of brigantines, especially the dark colored ones. I mostly see some from high level bandits around Gothenburg. Just make sure that you cover your body, arms, and legs. If you want to wear a helmet, I guess you can, but since it's the Punisher, I don't wear one. Obviously, since you'll be playing with heavy armor, your visibility and conspicuousness will be around 70 or higher. This is fine. The way you will play with this gear is you'll use this as an alternative to the assassin gear. So for example, when you find an enemy camp and you plan to kill everyone there, you just start shooting from the bushes. As long as you're crouched, enemies should not know where exactly the arrow came from. They will start investigating though, so you need to move after each shot. The best way to play this is during the night so you have the added cover from the darkness of the night. While the enemies are moving around and investigating, you just pick them off with either your bow or crossbow. When I play like this, I like to imagine this whole scene from Punisher Season 2 where Frank took out a bunch of dudes in the dead of the night.